Here's a question almost nobody in Tokyo wants you to ask. Why does the small prefecture of Okinawa, originally known as Ryukyu, carry the bulk of US military bases in Japan? And here is an even bigger question. Why does Japan always tiptoe around how it got these lands in the first place? Today, we're getting straight to it. Japan's 4 deadly sins on the people of Ryukyu. The history, the identity, the wartime trauma, and the militarization happening right now. Japan has long coveted the Ryukyu Islands, but there was an independent kingdom of Ryukyu with its own kings, legal codes, and a diplomatic order deeply rooted in East Asia. For some 500 years, until the end of the 19th century, the kingdom maintained tributary relations with China, a stable, peaceful, and mutually recognized system. In 1609, Japanese warriors invaded and brought northern Ryukyu under its control. Then came 1879, the so-called Ryukyu disposition. Let's be clear, this was not a negotiation but annexation by bloody force. Japanese troops marched into Shuri Castle, removed the king, and renamed the kingdom Okinawa Prefecture. No treaty, no international recognition, no consent of the people. That's the original sin, and Japan still refuses to legally address it. After annexation, Tokyo didn't just occupy territory, it reshaped identity by launching a decades-long campaign of forced assimilation. Children punished for speaking Ryukyuan languages. Dialect tags hung around students' necks. Textbooks invented a myth of shared Japanese Ryukyuan ancestry. Ryukyuans were treated as second-class Japanese, yet were demanded to serve and die for Tokyo's empire. Scholars today call this state-sponsored identity engineering. It attempted to erase a nation not by killing its people, but by killing its memory. 1945, the Battle of Okinawa, the Typhoon of Steel. Around 1/4 of the entire island chain's population was wiped out. And while American bombardment was devastating, that's not the full story. Japanese military records and survivor accounts describe atrocities committed by Japanese troops themselves. Families ordered to commit group suicides with grenades. Civilians shot for speaking Ryukyuan, accused of being American spies. Shelters seized by soldiers, forcing families into open fire zones. Food confiscated, leaving civilians to starve. Yet some politicians in Tokyo now try to sanitize this chapter, calling the mass suicides voluntary. Survivors have testified for decades. We were ordered. But the Japanese government still denies responsibility. Since the end of World War II, Ryukyu was quickly turned into a huge military base. The reason is simple. Its geological location. Against the backdrop of the Cold War, the intended enemy was obvious. For the locals, however, it means the imposition of a military burden the rest of Japan avoids. Over 70% of U.S. exclusive use bases in Japan on 0.6% of its land. 100 decibel jet noise pollution over homes and schools, toxic chemical contamination, land seizures, and a decades-long pattern of serious crimes against local girls and women involving foreign servicemen. The list goes on. More alarmingly, Tokyo is itself picking up pace in militarizing the entire Ryukyu arc, from Miyako to Ishigaki to Yonaguni, placing missile batteries, surveillance radars, and combat units, with the closest point just 100 kilometers from China's Taiwan. For many Ryukyuans, this is not defense. It is a return to the old pattern, their homeland turned into Japan's frontline outpost. These are the 4 deadly sins Japan has committed to the people of Ryukyu. A kingdom was illegally annexed, an identity was re-engineered, a people used as human fodder during wartime, and their home again turned into a military dumping ground against their will. The world needs to hear this story, whether or not Japan finds it convenient.